Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Wow, a whole nother day. We had a whole nother day. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So much mercy everywhere, I tell you, so much mercy. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We will read a little bit more from the summary study of the 10th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Too much fun, really. I mean, whoa. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Chaitanya, Krishna Chaitanya. Something that just, it makes me chuckle every time I think of it. And it's so, it's so funny. There's a devotee who's renounced in the sannyas order, and they give some really valuable sessions on online, really valuable sessions. The devotee sets the mood or the stage for the participants in the group discussion to be able to search out Krishna. It's really done very nicely. And he's very composed. He's sannyasi, he's very self-controlled and composed. He can't help it. Sometimes there's a question that seems like a really detailed question about something or other, and he'll end up discussing a pastime. He can't help it. It's like that's where he goes, because he's Krishna conscious. And many of the participants, they're just developing this consciousness of Krishna. So some of the questions, they're a little like mental, you want to try to understand, and it's a detailed question, and it takes them 20 minutes to actually verbalize the question, and it's kind of a so how do you get from there, from this big mental question, to opening it up so that there's Krishna consciousness, not just jnana, something or other. So he's suffering from dry eyes. Sometimes people get that, and they're allergic to something, and the eyes, they're perpetually dry, and it's not a good situation in terms of health and stuff. It has to be moisture in the eyes. So he has a little tube or jar of artificial tears. He's Krishna conscious, okay? And he's getting all these really like mental questions, a lot of them mental. The devotees want to break through this mental thing and actually feel something in Krishna consciousness, but they're still kind of stuck there, and that's why he's there, to try and help. So he'll take a little break and say, wait a minute, I can put some artificial tears in my eyes. So he always has tears in his eyes. I'm putting artificial tears in my eyes. It's very funny, actually. Because absorbed in love of God, sometimes there are real tears. Torrents of real tears. Not all the time, necessarily, but from time to time, a devotee will experience that, where they're actually crying in helplessness for Krishna. So that every time I think of him and his artificial tears while he's being bombarded with these mental questions, it's very funny, actually. There's a lot that goes on in that session. That's just one thing. He has a great sense of humor, and it helps. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So I'm tempted to get some artificial tears myself today. The day started off with another devotee telling me how stupid I was. How I'm stupid, I'm not, whatever. Anyway, I've been told that before. One time a devotee said, I see you're not very advanced, you don't have any followers. So I'm like, well, I'm not sure that's the only way to measure. So I'm not advanced, they were right about that. But that's the way to measure if somebody is advanced, is how many followers they have. So today I was told I was really stupid and that I'm drying up because I'm not doing what they're doing. I'm not doing what they're doing, so I'm stupid and I'm drying up. And that I should do what they're doing, and then I won't be stupid and I won't be drying up. Hare Krishna. So I'm not advanced, I don't have any followers, and I'm stupid because I'm not doing what this other person thinks I should be doing, which is what they're doing. Okay. Hare Krishna. We're off to a good start today. We're off to a good start. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Yeah. What everyone should be doing is chanting Hare Krishna. That's what everyone should be doing. Okay? It's chanting Hare Krishna. So, you can do what I'm doing. I'm chanting Hare Krishna and I'm reading about Krishna. Okay? Oh God, I'm so stupid that I don't. Mostly that's the way people are, is they're doing something and they think you should be doing what they're doing because they're doing it. It kind of reinforces their idea that they're doing the right thing, if you also do what they're doing. Ah, shoo. It's never worked for me. I don't know, does it work for anybody else? and somebody tells you you're stupid and you should do what they're doing, does that work for anybody? It doesn't. It never worked for me. Oh, Krishna. Huh. Wow. Anyway, my spiritual master has composed a summary study of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. He has translated in a very scholarly way the first 9 cantos and part of the 10th canto. But considering he was in advanced age, he was in advanced age, like 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and he had so many other services to do for establishing the Krishna consciousness movement that he didn't know if he would be able to complete the 10th canto. And the 10th canto is like the crowning glory of the other 9. So he went ahead, he was translating with commentaries the other 9 cantos, but he went ahead and he did a summary study of the 10th canto to make sure that if he didn't live long enough, at least it will be done. And so that's what this is. This is the summary study of the 10th canto. And been reading since the beginning. We started. We're on chapter 32, which is the description of the Rāsa Dance. And continue with that. Krishna, 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 He. Krishna, 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 He. Krishna, 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 Rakshamam. Krishna, 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 Pahimam. Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rakshamam. Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Pahimam. We just found out that the young girls who went to join Krishna in the dead of night, in the forest, in the moonlight, to dance with him in an intimate way, that he was 8 years old. And they joined Krishna in their spiritual bodies. Their material bodies were lying in bed with their husbands. It was in their spiritual bodies that they joined Krishna. So it wasn't an ordinary mixing of boys and girls like we find in the nightclubs. So there is therefore no reason to accuse Krishna in any way. And not only that, but Krishna is within the heart of everyone. So if Krishna is embracing one of these young girls, he's already within her heart as Paramatma. I mean, you don't get any closer to someone than that. So the embracing on the outside, Hare Krishna, spiritual bodies. That these girls had prayed to have that intimate mood of loving relationship with God, with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that was what was happening here. The demigods were watching the whole thing, and they were just, the moon planet, it's described kind of poetic, became stunned to see the event. And he was giving light to it. And he was stunned to see the event. And the demigods were showering flowers. After the Rāsa Dance was over, the night turned into the Brahma Muhurta, the Night of Brahma. Okay, we read that. Okay. Sukadeva Goswami has used the word Shraddhanvita for one who is trained in the spiritual life. Shraddha, or faith, is the beginning. One who has developed his faith in Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Spirit Soul, can both describe and hear. Sukadeva also uses the word Anushranuyat. One must hear from disciplic succession. Anu means following, and Anu means always. So one must always follow the disciplic succession and not hear from any stray professional reciter, Mayavadi, or ordinary man. Anushranuyat means that one must hear from an authorized person who is in the disciplic succession and is always engaged in Krishna consciousness. When a person wants to hear in this way, then the effect will be sure. By hearing Rasa Leela, one will be elevated to the highest position of spiritual life. Sukadeva Goswami uses two specific words, Bhaktim and Param. Bhaktim Param means execution of devotional service above the neophyte stage. Those who are simply attracted to temple worship but do not know the philosophy of bhakti are in the neophyte stage. That sort of bhakti is not the perfectional stage. The perfectional stage of bhakti or devotional service is completely free from material contamination. The most dangerous aspect of contamination is lust or sex life. Bhaktim Param, devotional service, is so potent that the more one advances in this line, the more he loses his attraction for material life. One who is actually deriving benefit from hearing Rasa Leela dance surely achieves the transcendental position. He surely loses all traces of lust in his heart. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur points out that according to Bhagavad Gita, the Brahma day and Brahma night are periods of solar years expanding to 4,300,000 multiplied by 1,000. According to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the Rasa dance was performed during the long period of Brahma's night, but the gopis could not understand that. In order to fulfill their desire, Krishna extended the night to cover such a great period of time. One may ask how this was possible, and Vishwanath Chakravarti reminds us that Krishna, although bound by a small rope, could show his mother the whole universe within his mouth. How was this possible? The answer is that he can do anything for the pleasure of his devotees. Similarly, because the gopis wanted to enjoy Krishna, they were given the opportunity to associate with him for a long period. This was done according to his promise. When Krishna stole the garments of the gopis while they were taking bath at Chirgat on Yamuna, Krishna promised to fulfill their desire in some future night. In one night, therefore, they enjoyed the company of Krishna as their beloved husband, but that night was not an ordinary night. It was a night of Brahma and lasted millions and millions of years. Everything is possible for Krishna, for he is the supreme controller. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 32nd chapter of Krishna, description of the Rasa dance. So then we go to killing some demons. It's interesting that there's going to be some demons killed, and then we're going to go back to the gopis. Okay, time out. Time to kill some demons. It's chapter 33. Vidyadhar liberated and the demon Shankashura killed. Once upon a time, the cowherd men of Vrindavan, headed by Nanda Maharaj, desired to go to Ambikavan to perform the Shivaratri performance. The Rāsa Leela was performed during the autumn, and after that the next big ceremony is Holi, or the Dolayatra ceremony. Between the Dolayatra ceremony and the Rāsa Leela ceremony, there is one important ceremony which is called Shivaratri, which is especially observed by the Shivites, or devotees of Lord Shiva. But sometimes the Vaishnavas also observe this ceremony because they accept Lord Shiva as the foremost Vaishnava. By the function of Shivaratri, but the function of Shivaratri is not observed very regularly by the bhaktas or devotees of Krishna. Under the circumstances, it is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam that the cowherd men headed by Nanda Maharaj once upon a time desired. That means that they were not regularly observing the Shivaratri function, but that once upon a time they wanted to go to Ambikavan out of curiosity. Ambikavan is situated somewhere in the Gujarat province. Ambikavan is said to be situated on the river Saraswati, yet we do not find any Saraswati river in the Gujarat province. The only river there is Sabarmati. In India, all the big places of pilgrimage are situated on nice rivers like the Ganges, Yamuna, Saraswati, Narmada, Godavari, Kaveri, etc. Ambikavan was situated on the bank of Saraswati, and all the cowherd men and Nanda Maharaj went there. They very devotedly began to worship the deity of Lord Shiva in Ambika. It is the general practice that wherever there is a temple of Lord Shiva, there must be another temple of Ambika or Durga, because Ambika is the wife of Lord Shiva and is the most exalted of chaste women. She doesn't live outside the association of her husband. After reaching Ambikavan, the cowherd men of Vrindavan first bathed themselves in the river Saraswati. If one goes to any place of pilgrimage, his first duty is to take a bath and sometimes to shave his head. That is the first business. After taking bath, they worshiped the deities and then distributed charity in the holy places. According to the Vedic system, charity is given to the Brahmanas. It is stated in the Vedic Shastras that only the Brahmanas and the sannyasis can accept charity. The cowherd men from Vrindavan gave cows decorated with golden ornaments and beautiful garlands. The Brahmanas are given charity because they are not engaged in any business profession. They are supposed to be engaged in Brahminical occupations as described in the Bhagavad Gita. Namely, they must be very learned, must perform austerity and penance. They must not only themselves be learned, but they must also teach others. Brahmanas are not meant to be Brahmanas alone. They should create other Brahmanas also. If a man is found who agrees to become a Brahmana's disciple, he is also given the chance to become a Brahmana. The Brahmana is always engaged in the worship of Lord Vishnu. Therefore, the Brahmanas are eligible to accept all kinds of charity. But if the Brahmanas receive excess charity, they are to distribute it for the service of Vishnu. In the Vedic scripture, therefore, one is recommended to give in charity to the Brahmanas, and by so doing, one pleases Lord Vishnu and all the demigods. The pilgrims take bath, worship the deity, and give in charity. they are also recommended to fast one day. They should go to a place of pilgrimage and stay there at least for 3 days. The first day is spent fasting, and at night they can drink a little water because water does not break the fast. So then we're going to find out what happens. A demon appears on the scene, what he does, and how Krishna takes care of it. Hare Krishna. Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Radhar, Shivaratri, Gaur Bhaktivinoda, Hare Krishna.